Hello, 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 and welcome to Megan DiMartino, Hope and Possibilities. I am so pleased that you're here today with me, and I'm going to share a special Father's Day-ish Hope and Possibilities on purposeful action. Purposeful action. I heard the word purposeful today and it really resonated with me. And I started thinking about it and thinking about the essence of the word purposeful. And purposeful means that to me, it means that you are being clear on what step you're taking. Purposeful, taking that step, but knowing why you're taking that step, that understanding, that decision to take that first step. It's that purposeful. You have drawn a line in the sand. You're saying, this is what I'm going to do. It's purposeful. It's full of intention and resolution and taking action. So it was like, wow, that's a good word. And so I was thinking about it and marinating on it. And with that, then the word, as I said, action, purposeful action, meaning purposeful is that intent to really be clear on it. That's that purposeful, but then taking action. Because I wanted to speak to you about taking action. And so when I heard the word purposeful, I said, wow, that is truly a word that marries beautifully with the then taking action, that purposeful, that intention, because we take action all the time. You get out of bed in the morning. Does that have a purposeful action? Sometimes, if you're late or that, you are looking forward to doing something and you bound out of bed, but, you're taking action. So it's that, mechanical action is what I'm really saying there, where purposeful has that intention, it has that clarity. You know why you're doing it, and then you couple that with action, that purposeful action. Well, what does this have to do with Father's Day? And what does this have to do with, what I'm going to be speaking about? Well, I've shared a lot about my father over the years, and he was a guy that truly had purposeful action. That man knew exactly what he was going to do when he was going to do it. For instance, there are four of us, and we all went to Catholic school, and we all wore saddle shoes or some sort of shoe like that. And so those nuns were very particular, very persnickety on how you looked. So, and probably my father was even more persnickety than they. But regardless, he took purposeful action every day and got up and shined our shoes. Now, he may have done that late at night. I don't know that. But they were waiting for us by our door, and those shoes were always ready to roll. Now, they were not brand new shoes. And so he was a young man building his own business, and he had four kids and a home, and all of that goes with it. So obviously, he wanted to have those last a little bit longer. So he took care of them, but he had purposeful action. It's just one story of Ray DiMartino. I think about him all the time, about that purposeful action. He was an entrepreneur. The gentleman had dreams, goals, and aspirations. He had so many thoughts and ideas. He was always creating for his career slash then his entrepreneurship, but also his family. He's always creating projects, creating fun things with purposeful action. One that I always think about in the springtime is the Kentucky Derby. For whatever reason, and we lived on Long Island, the Kentucky Derby meant something to him, probably because on Long Island there was Roosevelt Field, and he did enjoy going to the racetrack. So I'm sure that was part of it. But he always made a fun festival, purposeful action around the Kentucky Derby. We had to have hats. My mother made, I don't remember what it was, but meaning some sort of fruit punch and in pretty glasses. And so we always celebrated it, but we also took bets on the horses. And he had some sort of little prize if whoever won. And so it made it very meaningful and very special, but it was meaningful action. He didn't just say, hey, let's sit around the TV and watch the Kentucky Derby. He created an event and a day around it with purposeful action. So purposeful, taking that step, being clear about it, but taking that step. And so I always speak about my dad also in reference to his entrepreneurship, because he himself, yes, he started out as a salesman for a company, had to start somewhere. And he was working for this paper company. It was a large mill manufacturer of paper products. And so he himself had various products that he repped, and one was wet strength tissue. So if you've ever had a perm and rolling that perm, the ends are covered by tissue end wraps. So he technically invented tissue end wraps. I say technically because he never had a patent and he didn't have his name specifically on them. But what he did do is a light bulb, as a creative, a light bulb went off in his head, and his, let me back up. The product, wet strength tissue, was sold to hospitals for underbedding, for incontinence. And so his client was the hospital, and he had other paper products that related to the hospital sale. But one was this tissue, this wet strength tissue. And so he said, I bet this would work for perming. Now, why did he think that? Not because he needed a perm, not necessarily because my mother had a perm, which I'm sure she did, but over the years. But his father, my grandfather, was a barber and a stylist, and he used to do perming on women in the barber shop / salon. And my father and his brothers helped work the salon, barbershop. And so he observed this. So he said, I bet this would work for perming, because his dad used cloth to roll the ends. And so my dad, cut it up and brought it to salons in the New York City area, walked in, asked to speak to the owner, the manager, and asked them what what are they using first off? But then by this point, they were using a non-woven material, which was very expensive. And they were reusing it, which was not sanitary. So he said, here's something 1/10 the cost and disposable. So they tried it, they loved it, and us kids were packing end wraps in our basement. So his job became his main job, but then he started this side hustle, so to speak, and in today's jargon. And he then went to one of the guys that was on, probably the president of the company, and he was on the board eventually. But he went to this guy and showed him his idea. And so this man created a separate company, and he and my father were partners in it for many, many years. And so my father grew out of his corporate job, and then this company that he and this man started became his main career job. And he was partners with this man for many years. And then the gentleman was an older person, and he passed on. First, he retired, and then my father it took it out of, bought him out, and then, had his own business. But it started with that purposeful intention, meaning he saw something, then realized he could create from it, and then took that action with it. So he had clarity about it. He thought about the tissue itself, the properties of it, what it could do, and then created his, or took action, cut it up and brought it to salons, did his market research basically, and then us kids packaged it. Where he got the dispensing boxes, I have no idea, but he then took it to market. So purposeful action. I was brought up that way. This is what I saw in my life, from my dad, this purposeful action. But purposeful was also very creative. Then, as I became aware of myself, I guess you'd say, I started creating things, whether it was redecorating my room every week, with fabric and sheets and all sorts of things. I was creating. I was beginning to create. And then I went further and started doing things with the neighbor kids and creating things and on and on. And so when I created my first skincare line back in 1992, it was based on a lot of information, having worked like my father did with corporations, with corporate jobs, and learning the essence of business, I guess you'd say. And then I coupled that with what I knew, like he saw with the tissue, the need in the marketplace when he started doing his market research. I saw what I was interested in, meaning from a skincare position as I was approaching 40 and then a little bit after. And there was not anything on the market that had that result oriented ingredient or action that created true results. So I then was working with Alcon, started doing research, working my day job, so to speak, took that action, started researching it, and put together my original brand called Glycolique, and left Alcon and then started my own business because I saw that. Not exactly the same, and I was pretty young when that all was going on. But over the years, I saw my dad's purposeful action. And then in 1982, I went to work for my father and started he gave me the opportunity to do product development, market research, product development, packaging, marketing, taking it to market, and then sale. So it was a great opportunity to learn how to put together a product and then take it to market and build it. But bottom line, guys, it is that purposeful action, because if a product is not going to sell, why the heck would you do it? So you have to look at the market. You have to see if it is appropriate, applicable to the needs of people, that purposeful, and then taking action. So I looked at and saw the need, the hole in the market, because prior to that, products were European based, very emollient oriented, meaning heavy, gooky, didn't have any active ingredients that did something. Had to do research on that, found glycolic acid from the alpha hydroxy fruit acid family, and started Glycolique. But it was that purposeful, seeing what the market needed, and then putting together the most original, unique system that, and that's tomorrow's information, but needed a system, needed to be simple, because the consumer was looking for products that had true results but were simple to use. So I put together Glycolique, a simple, safe, synergistic system for all skin types that truly works. So that purposeful action. And I share this story today to couple it in honor of my dad, Ray DiMartino, on Father's Day this weekend, because he truly has been an inspiration in my life over the years to create things that will help people, will assist people, because that truly was the essence of Ray, is he didn't just idly do something. It had to have it not only results, but it had to fit a need, solve, as Sharon Lecter says, solve a problem, serve a need. And I have always ascribed to that, to look at what the market needed, where I could help people and help people with their true results and their needs. So thank you guys for joining me today. And for all you dads out there, just remember, purposeful action. Your kids are waiting and listening and watching everything you do, whether they remember it or not, or realize it, I should say, at that age, 0 to probably 18 to 20-ish. I really didn't give all of this a lot of thought, but as I stepped into my adulthood and what I was looking to do, I certainly, and long before I started working for my dad in 1982, I certainly thought about this and realized that role model was there, and it has been there forever, and it will be there forever. My dad and mom are no longer with me, and my brothers and sister, but we truly remember and talk about these stories often. And there's many Rayisms, that's for sure, but they are all treasures that keep us, in that reality of purposeful action. So this weekend, treat your dad with specialness. He is there for you always in ways that you don't even remember. And if your dad is not with you, just remember those special times, honor. And then if you don't have a dad, I know, like my daughters did not really have a dad functioning in their lives, that their grandparents, my dad, Ray DiMartino, and their grandfather, Bud Fiorello, were certainly just true foundational figures in their lives, and other people of that nature, meaning Bill Itzen, friends and family, have always been so special in their lives and so foundational. So just think of those people that have affected your life with purposeful action. So thank you for joining me today on Hope and Possibilities Just Over the Horizon. That was one of my father's lines, when he said, when us kids would say, Dad, we need da da da, he'd say, over the horizon when my ship comes in, is what he actually would say. So I think of my dad every day with my book, Hope and Possibilities Just Over the Horizon. It's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. Just write down what things you want to do, what makes your heart sing, and then create that purposeful action with that, because everything can evolve from that place that makes your heart sing. So that purposeful, and then take action, because without action, nothing will happen. Take that first step. The second and third step will be revealed to you. Psalm 37. And Jeremiah 29:11, God knows the order and he orders your steps. So just be aware that life is evolving, and get out of your own way, and he, our big papa, will lead the way. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on Friday for Unique Leaders Live. Be blessed.